Alright, I'm back. We got ourselves fucking killer beer right here. This is Holy Mountain Premordial Sky Double IPA. This one looks like it's coming in at 8% right over yonder. Get a nice look at that killer artwork right there. Love the red and black, obviously. It's funny enough, on this label they actually give us a tad bit of information, which is not really usual of them. But they say hops used are Mosaic, Galaxy, and Idaho 7. So some nice and hype shit right there. Let's go ahead and crack this. I noticed the bottle cap was a little bit different. Must be like a supply chain thing. Who knows? We got our Holy Mountain 3rd anniversary glass. We're going to go ahead and use that today. And to be honest, I didn't know whether or not this was a hazy or a West Coast. I was unsure. I just read the label and saw it was a, oh lordy, what have we done? I saw it was a double IPA. Anyhow, on my side, we kind of got a dull orange color, but definitely opaque. And man, oh man, the aromas on this one is filling the room. Like, not gonna lie, the aroma is bold and banging off this head. It is blasting off there. Kind of get some of those like candied peaches, those like gummy peach candies with maybe like some of that sugar crusted on top or whatever. Those peach rings. I don't know if you've ever had those, as well as some very nice zingy citrus. Fuck, that'd be a good shave soap scent. Oh yeah. Okay. This one, you almost get like a slap of some like really zingy like grapefruit or something. And then it washes over somewhat quickly with just like tropical, like not exactly sure if it's like guava or passion fruit, but it's like you get that bitterness that's really akin to grapefruit, and then after that it just washes over with some nice tropical fruits. It has a lot of body to it. It actually, there's a solid malt presence in this as well. The whole thing, the whole experience is pretty hefty. Like it's bold and banging. From the taste to the scent, they fucking whoop this one with some of the ingredients they put on it. That is for sure. All right, let's get into the shave now. I guess we're entering, we're past Halloween, entering Dia De Los Muertos, which goes, I think, till November 2nd. Halloween to November 2nd. So I figured I'd pick the one with the skeleton on the front, Wholly Kaw Vor V. And this was a Halloween release, but I think they've been selling this all year round. There's a look at the Sierra base, which is a tallow base. Has an absolute gang of ingredients, as well as some additional information right there. To be honest, I haven't had the best experience with Sierra in the past, but today we aim to change things. This is a wonderful scent. If you're unaware, this has to be inspired by Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. They don't come out and say it, but I think most of us in the community who know a thing or two about fragrances, I mean, it has to be. It might not be like a dead ringer, but it's inspired by. So, if you're familiar with Tuscan leather, it has some nice smooth leather notes, a very appealing raspberry note, some florals. Overall, it's a fucking killer scent. It's one of my favorites. I love it. Alright, so we just wet the face with some warm water. We'll let that soak in. I made a pretty fucking killer lather today. It looks very nice in my opinion. I got my my Thirsty Badger shave bowl in the red, white, and black right there. Love this thing. And then of course I got my Alpha Shaving Company Outlaw handle with a AP shave code Gelousy not on top of this one. So let's get right into it. Today we aim to do a little comparison between the Homelike Start Razors. Let me rephrase that. Between the Homelike Start Razor and the Homelike Colibri Razor. Both open comb offerings, but they have a little bit different blade gaps, head geometry, handles, rinse ports. So there is some differences between these two. Go ahead and work this in. The tips on the Gelousy knot from AP Shave Co. If you're unfamiliar, they call it the Gelousy because it has been gelled, and it is very soft. It doesn't get quite to the point of that like super slimy feel that kind of turns me off a little bit, but it is very very soft and comfortable when you scrub a little bit. So there's that. And the lather I made today with the Sierra base definitely exceeds some of my attempts in the past. It just seemed like Sierra was a little bit softer when I originally got it, which was last Halloween. And I think it needed like a lot of product, and maybe I just wasn't loading heavy enough because I'm a cheapskate and Sierra's like a $30 soap base. And so maybe I was, trying to be frugal, even though I shouldn't try to be frugal when I have 100 soaps. But, it is what it is. That's what happened. And today, knowing what I knew, I loaded heavy as hell with the Sierra, and we got a good base out of it. So, here are the two razors. I'm going to go ahead and give you a look at the two. When it comes to the knurling, definitely different styles. I think the Colibri wins on the knurling. It kind of has this diamond pattern that's much tighter and sharper. This one still has grip, definitely not as prominent. Like if the Colibri has like an 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 on the knurling grip, this is probably more like a 4.5. There's grip there, but it's just not the best. Two different handle lengths, if you can see that. And then they're both open combs. Looking at them, there is a difference. You can see how the Start Razor kind of has this little action going over the edge where it's rounded, whereas the Colibri just comes out straight. So there's that. The overall profile is, pretty similar, with the Colibri coming in just a little bit more slim, I think. On the underside, neither of them have rinse ports. I guess they intend for you to hydrate your lather appropriately and let those open combs do the job. Other than that, this one uses the two little bars to hold the blade tight, whereas this one doesn't have that. And they're both kind of like in a, nice polish finish. So let's slap some blades into these, and we will get going. I think I intend on using these Gillette 7 o'clock super stainless greens. So I haven't took any of the blades out. Perhaps I should have done that in pre-production, but I didn't, so now I'm going to race to do it right now. Bear with me. And I say pre-production as if there is much of a pre-production. There ain't. Okay. Now I'm gotta be careful at the same time. So, perhaps take a swig of your drink, or if you don't got one, go grab one. Because now we're making up for lost time here. And my lather's drying out, which I don't think is going to be much of an issue, though. Okay. One blade in. There we go. There is some overhang on that Colibri razor. If you've been watching my my uses of it as of late, you'll know that there is some overhang on that one. Funny enough, they approached the Start Razor. Now that I'm loading the Start Razor up, I didn't actually remember that the Start Razor doesn't have overhang. So if you can see there, the Colibri has some overhang on both sides. Start Razor doesn't have any overhang on either side. They both, you know, line up the blade very well. Don't even got to think about it. So let's pick a side here. We'll go the Start on my left, the Colibri on my right. Fresh Gillette blades in them. And since I usually start with my right, that's what we're going to do today. The Colibri has a 1.3 blade gap, open comb. The Colibri Razor is actually on loan to me from my buddy JB Broman, a viewer of the channel and a generous community member. He reached out to me after letting me borrow his carbon, and I used that, made some content, sent it back, and then he asked, you know, had I ever used a Homelike Colibri? I said no, and he sent that one over next. So I really appreciate the generous letting me borrow your shave gear and putting your shave gear on the line going through the UPS and FedEx mail channels. Alright, that's about half right there, so I'll go ahead and rinse that off. I gotta remember to switch razors at the halfway point. The Homelike Colibri Razor definitely has some prominent blade feel, in my opinion. Not that it's scary or threatening, but I do feel like you kind of have to be a fan of the blade feel to really get some like full enjoyment out of that razor. Still comes across very smooth. It's just, like I said, a lot of blade feel, so you kind of got to enjoy that. Now I have two little bumps that have been with me for over a week now. Try to go very light over the top of those, hoping not to open them back up. The Homelike Start Razor that I'm shaving with at the moment is a 0.9 blade gap, so a little bit different there. There is a blade gap discrepancy between the two. They're not exactly the same, and I don't think that Homelike Shaving keeps the same blade gaps from razor to razor, only because different razors have different builds and head design, you know what I mean? So it might not actually be ideal to have the same blade gaps throughout all their different razor lines. Got to kind of build each razor independently and figure out blade gaps that really hit the marks that you want to hit. Alright, I guarantee both razors knocked down a fair amount of growth on that first pass. I don't tend to have a whole bunch of growth on the upper cheek here. It does grow like all the way up to here. It's just kind of dispersed, you know, it's not the most dense area of growth on my face. I think you can kind of tell when people have like dense growth, even when they're shaved. You can kind of just see like this constant shadow of where like their dense growth is. I don't have that on the upper cheeks, nor is it really, you know, really dense on my lower neck, but whereas I felt barely anything up there after pass one, down here I still feel a lot. There's a lot of work to do down here, so we will hopefully pick all of that up in pass two. And I do a with the grain and against the grain, and I kind of do some pickups immediately. I don't re-lather for my pickups. I just kind of do some pickups immediately. So here we go again. Colibri. Oh, actually, I should probably lather up, huh? The Sierra base definitely redeemed itself on this one, or at least I redeemed myself with Sierra. Definitely made a better lather this time. Probably could have added a little bit more moisture, but it is what it is. It's super slick. It does have a decent density to it, and an above average density. And you know me, I love that. I love that luxurious density. I don't think it adds much in the way of, you know, quote unquote protection, but it definitely adds something to the luxurious experience of the shave. That should be good enough. I don't want to get too long into the video. So here we go against the grain, the Colibri. And very smooth. Definitely very smooth. But there is kind of like this constant, you know, awareness that there is a razor blade touching your skin. In all honesty, high blade field razors like this aren't my favorite. It might be a bit much for me on the feel of the shave. As far as the end product goes, I have had some really good shaves with this open comb 1.3 millimeter Colibri razor. I've had some really enjoyable shaves with it. I just find it's a bit, it doesn't give me the most comfortable result. And I'm just going to shave this lower neck part because that doesn't really matter much. But it doesn't give me the most, I shouldn't say comfortable result, but it's not the most enjoyable for my preferences. The Homelike Start Razor on the .09 blade gap, however, I have absolutely loved this one. I do find that it is less, it's even less threatening. It has less blade feel. It's more smooth. Aesthetically, I actually like the aesthetics of the Start Razor more than the Colibri, although they both look like nice razors. And then the shaves that they give me, although both give me comfortable shaves with very nice BBS results, I have had multiple weepers with the Colibri razor throughout my shaves with it, whereas that's much more of a rare occurrence with the Homelike Start Razor. It just is. Like, let's take a look at my neck right now. On this side, the Colibri razor side, I have one weeper. And that, I don't think I took the head off of a blemish or anything. That's like down to the skin. I don't feel a bump or any irritation. It's just a weeper. Down the middle here, I think I got another weeper. And then on the Homelike Start Razor side, that one feels like it was a bump, a blemish. So, but I did right over the top of these two over here with the Homelike Start Razor. Didn't cut them open. So I know, you know, that might be the might not be the most enjoyable talk during a razor video, but you know, getting little cuts or running over blemishes, it's part of shaving. So I leave it in because it's just you know, it's something that you're going to have to deal with in your shaving journey. As a dude with a beard, it's something that's, you know, quite an occurrence, you know, having blemishes under the beard. So it's just something that I mention because it's something that I have to deal with on my daily shaves. The end result, though, is like BBS both sides. So if the end result is going to be the same, regardless of what I'm using, I think I'm going to go with the more comfortable shave, the more enjoyable shave to my preferences, which would be light blade feel. I do enjoy blade feel, I just don't like a ton of it. I'm going to go ahead and wipe down with the Lancaster towel. I do like blade feel, I just don't like a ton of it. I definitely don't want my shaves to feel like I'm on edge trying not to cut myself. I want them to feel smooth, even if they're very efficient. That's just the feeling of like having a smooth shave is a must. I don't want to feel on edge because it's so efficient or so blade feely. So for me, the Homelike Start and the .09 just works better. Both are good razors though. If I didn't have this Homelike Start and I already owned the Colibri 1.3, I might look into a lower blade gap option that may give me a smoother result. It's not a guaranteed thing. You know, depending on head design and whatnot, I might not ever find a base plate that works for me. But perhaps, you know, if I gave it a shot, I would find one that I liked. Let's go ahead and get this aftershave splash on before the video gets on too long. This is their aftershave splash, not their aftershave toner. So there's a look at the ingredients. And I believe this one does have a nice industry standard restrictor. We're still going to pour out the back just in case it's not a waterproof label, which I do believe it is. Ooh. And it is a alcohol splash with a nice hit of alcohol. It doesn't leave you wanting for that burn. This is definitely a close shave, and I can feel where I ran over those weepers because of that burn. All in all, both sides were enjoyable. If I had to choose one, I think I'm going to go with the Homelike Start Razor. But both very good razors, and I appreciate you, JB, for letting me borrow the Colibri. Cheers, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully the comparison helped you in one way, shape, or form, especially if you were looking into Homelike shaving. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next one.